What's good, fight fans? Gen Sports Corner back at you. We talking boxing today. Big fight coming up today. Riyadh season, and we got a lot of bangers on this list. Before I get into it, make sure you like, subscribe on the YouTube channel, Gen Music 856. And without further ado, we have the big fight card headlined by David Benavidez going against Anthony Yarde. David Benavidez at light heavyweight. They're fighting for the WBC World Light Heavyweight title. David Benavidez 30-0, and Anthony Yarde 27-3. This is a very good matchup for Benavidez, and I think a step up fight at light heavyweight. Anthony Yarde, number 9th ranked in the rankings. I would assume at least for the WBC for these in the light heavyweight division, and he's a power puncher. He comes in there to throw bombs and get you up out of there. And David Benavidez, he comes looking for the smoke as well. He always wants to get people out of there if possible, and the hands are real. And he's facing the guy in Anthony Yarde that respects him but is not scared of him. And I think the feeling is mutual. And this fight is so good, in my opinion, that they didn't need to really build this fight up. They didn't need to talk trash like they said in the press conference and whatnot. We don't need to talk trash for this. I know who I am. I'm a monster, the Mexican monster, and I know who he is, Anthony Yarde. He's going to come in looking to knock your block off. That's what he does. So I think this is a very, very good fight. And David Benavidez has had a little bit of a struggle at 175. He was able to beat David Morrell. I can't remember if that was 175 or not, but he got up there, and it was not as easy as it was at 168. We'll just say it like that. He has the skills, but now we're seeing a weight division where you can't just walk through people, and now we're going to see exactly where you're at in terms of the pecking order. And then you have the co-main event, which might be the main event of the fight, which would be between Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. And Brian Norman Jr., I'm going to tell you, 28-0. People don't know his name, but win, lose, or draw, you're going to know who Brian Norman Jr. is after this fight's over. And Devin Haney, 32-0, stepping up to the welterweight division, really looking to establish himself, 1. And 2, I think this is a career-defining fight for Devin Haney because obviously coming off the loss of Ryan Garcia, he had to go back in the lab and reevaluate things. And then he came out and had his next fight in the middle of Times Square, and although he won, and it was clear that he won, he was not looking to engage with that fighter the way that he was previous fighters. He looked like he was a little bit hesitant throwing that jab. You know, the one thing that got exposed in the Garcia fight, I'm not showing you the fight. It's not about that because I can't do it because of copyright reasons. If you want to listen to the rest of it, fine. If not, no problems. Devin Haney has a propensity to throw his jab out and drop his right hand. And that's why he got caught against Ryan Garcia. And he seems a little bit skittish popping that jab out. And unfortunately for him, that could become an issue going into this fight. That being said, Brian Norman Jr., although he's a firecracker, he has that power. He's one of the hardest hitting, if not hardest hitting guys at 147. He is a boxer who can punch, but I don't know if boxing Devin Haney is necessarily going to be his strong suit, what he's going to want to do. He's going to have to, as Tim Bradley stated, be a power boxer. Like, really be able to establish that jab, establish a power jab, and walk Devin Haney down. I haven't done enough research to really give my best take on this fight, but I will say I view it more as a 50-50 fight. I don't think that Devin Haney is going to be levels above Brian Norman per se, like maybe some people may think. Maybe some people don't think that. But Brian Norman, although I think that he can win this fight, and I'm picking him to win this fight, he cannot go in there being cute against Devin Haney. If he goes in there being cute and trying to outbox him, it could go sideways for him really quick. But if he goes in there and does what he's been doing up to this point, you know, being consistent, starting to show us consistency in his skill level versus flashes here and there, I think he's going to be a big problem for Devin Haney. because this is, again, another guy who you can't walk down because he's a smaller guy. He's not Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis, you know, no disrespect, he's a flat-footed brawler, more or less. He can box in spots, but he's flat-footed, and he's there to be hit. Brian Norman, the one thing that I can say that he's going to have to make sure is not an issue is the footwork. If he's worked on the footwork, which I think he has the athletic ability to take care of, because as long as you show him the proper things he needs to be doing, I don't see why he cannot be the Devin Haney. But if the footwork has not improved, then Devin Haney can win this fight. It's a very, very close fight. It's very difficult to call. But I'm picking Brian Norman for that fight. Another fight on this undercard that I'm really looking forward to is Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. This is for the vacant WBO World Lightweight title. Sam Noakes, 17-0. Not a superstar, but definitely a tough customer from the things I've been hearing. And Abdullah Mason, obviously, I guess you could still call him a prospect, top prospect on the way up, and maybe the future of boxing. One of the top fighters who will be the future of boxing in Abdullah Mason. This is going to be a tough fight, a good step-up fight for him, and we're going to see what he's about. This is not an easy fight for Abdullah Mason. I'm picking him to win the fight, but he could easily lose this fight. You know, we will see. And then the last fight that I'm really going to be here to check out is Bam Rodriguez and Fernando Martinez. And if you saw the press conference and then the weigh-in, you saw Martinez getting in Bam's face and, you know, being all extra and whatnot. I'm picking Bam Rodriguez to win this fight. 22-0, walking through everybody at super flyweight. Martinez, he looks like a firecracker. Look, from the little bit of highlights I've seen of him, you can't knock the dude's talent. But I think Bam Rodriguez is going to win this fight. And if Martinez gets cute, then Bam may be able to stop him in tough fashion. Again, I haven't seen enough of Martinez to really give a full opinion on it. I'm giving surface level takes here, but from what I know about Bam, that dude is special. He's special. There's levels. He works in layers like a chess player. He's like a couple moves ahead. And he is willing to sit in the pocket and bang with you for sure. That's what's special about Bam Rodriguez. He can outbox you. Make no mistake about it. But if you want to get cute, he will sit down on his punches and get you up out of there. So you got 4 really top level fights. Obviously, the main event with Benavidez and Yarde, but Norman and Haney, which may be the best fight of the night. And then Bam Rodriguez and Martinez, and then Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes. So I have Abdullah Mason winning his, Bam Rodriguez winning his, Benavidez beating Yarde. Maybe a tougher fight than people anticipate, but I think Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney is the fight to watch tonight. And like I said, I'm picking Brian Norman Jr., but I'm really here as a spectator to see what he's really about. This is his best opponent to date, in my opinion, Brian Norman Jr.'s. And I think Devin Haney, this is going to be one of his toughest fights to date, because you look at his past fights and agree or disagree, going into this fight, take this with you as you look at the Norman and Haney fight. They were asking Brian Norman about Devin Haney and the step up in competition and what he thought about Devin Haney, and he mentioned, look, this is going to be one of those fights where I'm not going to be the smaller guy, where you're going to be able to just do what you want to. You're fighting Lomachenko. You struggled against him. Some people thought you lost the fight. I thought that I had to go back and look at my scorecard, but I thought that Devin Haney might have pulled out a draw because he was able to steal that 12th round, but he was getting torn up from rounds 9 to 11 or 10 to 11. He was getting tagged up really, really bad, to the point that he could have got stopped if he didn't keep his composure. And last time I checked, Loma was a very, very small dude. So if Loma had like 5 or 10 more pounds on him, I don't think Devin Haney not only wins that fight, I don't think he's able to compete with Loma in that fight. Right? So when you go up against guys of that caliber, you don't look like the world beater all of a sudden. When you go up against guys like Ryan Garcia, who's closer to your size, and he just happened to have a long history with you in terms of fighting, he's not afraid of you. Like, physically, you're not going to impose your will on me, and I don't respect your punching power, so you're not going to be able to work me over like these smaller guys that don't have the power to really keep you up off of them. So how are you going to move up to welterweight, where you're going to have to carry up power even further that you may not have, and now you're facing guys that you're not weight draining down to beat, like, weight draining and then rehydrate. No, you're facing guys that are your size, if not bigger. So now we're going to really see what Devin Haney's about. So that's the fight of the night for me. So let me know who you guys have winning all these fights. The first one with Abdullahmason and Sam Noakes. The second one with Bamrodriguez and Fernando Martinez. The co-main event with Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. And then the main event with Benavidez and Yarde. And hopefully you guys enjoy the fights. And I'll catch y'all after. And we'll talk about it. Be blessed.